This is Shannon McGrew from Nightmarish Conjurings. Thank you so much for speaking with me today, Lee. I
Hi
love
Shannon, how are
the
you?
movie. Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm also a big fan of The Hole in the Ground, so I had to get that out
Oh, thank you very much.
there. So, to start things off, where did your love of Evil Dead start?
At a very impressionable age, when my dad showed me the movies on VHS, not Army of Darkness at that point, but the Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. And I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And I had no idea what I was watching. I just knew it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. So I was kind of hooked from a very young age and kept revisiting the movies in my teenage years. And then, getting older and becoming a filmmaker, they always had a very important place for me in terms of film culture, horror culture, and the type of movies that I wanted to go on and make.
And what was one of my favorite parts of this film is that it's outside of a cabin. We've always known that there's a cabin involved. So, what was the thought process behind bringing this film into a new setting?
I think it was the right time to refresh, but from my point of view, I wanted to find a way of upping the scares and creating a different context. Because in the past, you've got characters that go to an unfamiliar place. And that place is already a little bit creepy. Like when everyone walks into the cabin, no one's going, "Oh, sweet, I'm at the Four Seasons." They're like, "This is a creepy place," right? So from that point of view, I thought by bringing it to a familiar place, like the home that we can all identify with, the people that populate a home that we can identify with, that it was going to help me automatically raise the tension in a different way and have the creeps be less obvious in the beginning, but as we start to turn the dial and everything starts to change, what was once familiar becomes very unfamiliar and very scary, and household objects that you usually use to cook food with or to do your chores suddenly become things that are very dangerous in that context.
What was the deciding factor on using a cheese grater?
I just thought it would be badass, right? I just thought that it would be something that it's like we've all grated our knuckles on a cheese grater at some point. And I was like, well, what if I took that further? And I wrote the screenplay in my apartment. So I spent a lot of time like, wandering around a small space, a little bit like these characters and looking at objects. And I wish I could pinpoint the moment I nailed it, but I remember it being about halfway through writing the screenplay, the idea struck me, and I think I jumped forward and wrote that scene, or wrote a version of that scene because I knew that it was something that people were going to get really freaked out by.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with
You're
me.
welcome.
Love the film. Cannot wait for everyone to see it. And it meant a lot to me to be able to speak with you today.
Spread the good word. Thank you
I
so much.
most certainly will.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. You
Thanks,
too.
Shannon.